Hello, welcome to GTA Online Heists Roundtable. This is the debut edition of Roundtable, which is going to hopefully be an ongoing series where 3 or more members of the DIMP Digital mob discuss and critique a piece of DLC or even perhaps a full game. Our Let's Talk series is more of a show and tell where a team member usually introduces a game they've played after a handful of hours. The roundtables will only occur once a few of us have actually completed or exhausted a particular game. It could be a game mode or even a DLC. At the end, we're going to reveal whether we would recommend it to you guys at home. Now, with the formalities out the way, let's get cracking. You've got myself, Apps, Mark Smith Biff, and Mr. Piper. We are all here to talk about our experience with GTA Online Heists. Biff, it's been a while since we've actually spoken to you, since your appearance on the podcast. Let's start with the obvious question about GTA Online Heists. Was it worth the wait?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was waiting. It almost turned into like 18 months or so by the time the original game had been released.
Yeah, I mean, it was too long, let's be honest. I mean, let's take the mick. But, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was a good laugh, and, it's just sort of mixed it up a bit and just something else to do for GTA. And it was free, so it's always a bit of a bonus.
Yeah, that is a big bonus. I mean, there was only the 3 of us playing, wasn't there? So, Piper, how did you find the overall experience of just 3 players? Because a lot of the missions were designed for 4, wasn't they?
Yeah, no. We were unlucky to. I think we was to have a man down for the heist because it's all 4-player heists, and to be honest, most of them could have been 3-player or 2-player heists. It didn't really need 4 people, and that was that was frustrating at times, to say the least. But we muddled through it, and it was worth muddling the way through it because it was fantastic.
What was your favourite points of this, Biff? Was there any standout moments? I mean, I know there's one setup in particular I was quite fond of, but is there any one sort of poignant point you'd have in there?
Well, I don't know if you want to sort of ruin it if someone hasn't played it, but there's a mission where you're on the aircraft and you have to steal the planes. Yes. And you have to protect the one plane. So one of us jumps in that plane that has to be protected, and the other 3 fly around in other jets, protecting it while other jets attack it, and it was just carnage. And I mean, I thought that was head and shoulders the best one.
Yeah, that was a
lot of fun.
That was a humane raid heist, wasn't it? Which I thought overall was probably the best heist.
And even just getting onto the ship as well, like the actual aircraft, and it's smothered in sort of enemies, and you have to go through level by level shooting them all.
Yeah, there's a lot of enemies just to get through to actually get to the end bit. They were all quite long, weren't they? Set up missions. They weren't. They didn't hold back on giving you a bit of content there.
No, yeah, they were. Yeah.
Speaking of the heist, Piper, what was your favourite heist? Would you agree it was the Humane Labs? Humane Raid?
Yeah, no. That's the one that I keep thinking back to, and it was just fun. From start to finish, the whole mission was fun. Everyone had a job to do. That there was no sitting around for anyone, and everyone was involved with. A close second was probably the final heist. With getting the bank job and so forth. But yeah, the humane one was with the jets and the aircraft carrier was by far the best plot line and heist that we took part in.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Definitely was the one that stood out for me. What was Biff, you got any negatives from this particular piece of DLC and your experience with online heists? Is there anything that wasn't up to scratch, or you thought, well, they could have done this better in this area?
I mean, I just don't think you needed 4 people, because the amount of times you just get a mong on, because there's only 3 of us, just some geezer who's just doing nothing, and he's just up there, and all he's there to do is just to piss you off.
Yeah.
He's not there to try and help you, complete it. He's just there to just
make up the numbers.
Yeah, and shoot you, or he'll just do something really stupid. You think, what are you doing that for? And yeah, I don't really see why they needed 4 people.
Yeah, you're right, Biff. Like there was the time when that we was about to complete a mission, and the guy just logged, and it failed the mission for us all, and we had to then wait for someone else to join and redo the whole mission again, and it was an extra half an hour of our time sort of wasted because some person just logged.
Yeah, that was frustrating. I mean, that's the one thing I'd say that they should have addressed, that you shouldn't have to finish the mission with everyone alive. It just didn't make sense. It opened the opportunity up for randomers. In our case, we had 1 spare person every single time, apart from a couple of times when I drafted in an old friend of mine. But generally, we had 3 people, so there's always a random person that we wasn't familiar with. And like you said, someone logged off probably about 20 seconds before the end of a setup mission, and then it cancelled the whole thing. So it would have been good if it would allow you to finish at least the setup or the heist a man down. So in those instances that happens, it doesn't cost the whole team. And also Piper, he was always dying, so he's always setting up in some way or another.
Got more platinums than Biff though. That is the main thing.
I think if we did look at the platinums, you might actually have beaten Biff there.
Well, if you sit on your arse doing nothing, you will sit back and claim the platinums. But another negative as well is that one person controls it and the other three are just like its minions. So obviously you were the leader of it all, and you were making the cuts. Some of us got bigger cuts than others, and if I took you to a court of law, I think I'd win. The cuts that I got.
Well, you warranted a low cut on the first one. I wasn't quite sure how he was going to perform. Piper had been there. I've known Piper a lot longer, so he's more trustworthy. So I quite like that little aspect of it, though. That I had to front the money as the leader, and I didn't get any money back until the actual heist was fully completed, where you guys were paid for each setup mission that you took part in, and also you got a slightly smaller cut at the very end of it. My overall opinion of it is I think it's probably one of the best free pieces of DLC that's ever been released. Now, I know it's taken them an absolute age to get this out, but you can't deny it was a good package. I'd say it's probably just over 15 hours worth of content there. So the setup missions for the most part are well thought out, and the heists are top notch. I'd say the Trevor heist, which I think was called Series A, was easily the worst. I didn't enjoy a great deal of that. I won't go into detail and waste time about why we didn't like it, but I think we all agreed that there was one weak link in the heists. It was a bit annoying. And if you have 4 people playing this, you're going to have such a blast, aren't you? It's made for 4 people, and the time we did have 4, I think we did the best in those times.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, we moaned that you can't play it with 3. What we should really do is just find another friend, basically. I think that would be the easiest thing to do.
that would be the easiest thing to do, but it's tough times.
We could have also, it was worth letting everyone know we didn't bother opening up our chat and our party, so that probably would have made things a hell of a lot easier for us as well, because there was plenty of times people were trying to talk to us, we could see, but we just sort of blocked them out because we didn't really want to listen to them.
It was all sitting there scared, didn't want to talk to them in case it's some nutcase. If you're below 4 people, I 100% recommend that you keep your chat line open, so you have a far easier time communicating. We cut the extra man off every single time, and it definitely had a negative effect on the experience, and I'm pretty sure that's why some people log, just to fuck us off, because I was like, well, if they're not going to talk to me, I'm just going to absolutely cost them here. And when you was having someone, when we set up a plan for one of the setup missions, like the convoy breaking one, which was on the Pacific Stand, the last heist, we had a plan the 3 of us were going to stick to, but because we weren't communicating to the last person, he was just running off doing his own thing, and it ended up costing us, which was it's a bit of a shame.
That's another good feature about it, that the fact that it's just not just like throw as many bullets as you can out there and you'll do it. You actually have to sort of think and plan it and
work as a team.
It doesn't just play through itself. It how you choose to do things has a sort of an effect on it.
When we got Craig in there, who's the friend that I drafted in, that's when it really that evening when we all played it together, that really kicked in. It became the complete experience, didn't it? It's a shame that we only had him for a handful of setups and probably the worst heist of the game, but I'd like to see them add some more 2 or 3 man heists, just selfishly, so there's a smaller group. You haven't got to always have 4 people. And like we said, they need to remove the feature where all the members of the team need to be alive at the end of it, because that was really frustrating. I think we've waffled on enough, and it's time for us to come to a decision. Now, because this is a free piece of DLC, can't really judge it on whether it's worth the money, because there's no cost associated with it. So I guess what we're going to be judging this on, whether it's worth someone's time to play through these, because I've played some free shit in the past, and it's been fucking awful and wasn't worth the time. So, Mr. Piper, would you recommend GTA Online Heist to the DIMP Digital audience?
Oh, 100%. It's worth every hour you spend on it. Every frustrating bit of time is you look back on with fondness. So yeah, if you got a chance to play it, pick it up and play it. In my opinion, I don't complete games very often, and this was one of the very few that I have, and I'd play again, to be honest.
Excellent. Biff, same question to you.
Yeah, definitely. I would just heed old words of warning and get a 4th person in. And if you don't, then talk to them.
Be prepared to talk to people, otherwise it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. It will be frustrating.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'd recommend it too. So that makes a unanimous decision. Go out there and give GTA Online Heist a go. That's it from us from now. Thanks for joining me on this debut edition of the Roundtable. us three will catch up soon, I'm sure. The rest of you, thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to make sure you're up to date with all things Dimp Digital. Thanks very much for your time, and ta-da.